Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers document that Steffy Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline Missinswood, is receiving heavy pressure from her parents about her personal life. Fans know that's nothing new in this smothering family. However, their protective instinct is hard to argue against. Steffy naturally defends her husband because she sees how deeply he is impacted. Learning about Luna Nozawa's, Lisa Yamada, true paternity was mind-bending. Poppy Nozawa's, Romy Park, prediction that John Finn Finnegan's, Tanner Novlin, life would blow up might still prove true. Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, direction for Steffy shocked her. She didn't expect her mother to recommend leaving Finn and the Cliff House. That advice shook an already shaky Steffy, who is mortified that Finn is dealing with an entirely new family drama. Viewers recall recent moments of bliss for the happy couple some refer to as Sin, the mashed nickname of Steffy and Finn. While that moniker merger and others like them can range from silly to goofy, the intention behind them isn't. Fans love couples that make sense. Steffy fell in love with Finn when she looked at him in one of the most memorable first meetings in the show's modern history. Leaving their family home at the Cliff House and moving in with Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, and Taylor at Eric Forrester's, John McCook, mansion would be reactionary. But Taylor believes Luna is a threat without knowing she's not in prison. Timed speculation begins now that Finn forced the truth into the light of daytime. He learned that she wasn't incarcerated at the original prison where her stay began and was mysteriously provided with her house arrest location through an anonymous text. The prison administrator Finn demanded information from may have sent him the text or someone up the chain of command did. However, it happened, and the plot was rapidly pushed forward. The above had to happen so Finn and Luna could share their moments. The first was when he found her at Bill Spencer's, Don Diamond, and Luna was shocked by being exposed. The second had Finn tell Luna he was her father, and the tears flowed voluminously from both characters' eyes. Taylor is concerned about Steffy and the grandchildren's safety. Ridge shares his reconciled love interest concerns. Budig's character also said too much when speculating that Hayes Forrester Finnegan, Alexander, and Chase Banks could have inherited Sheila Carter Sharp's, Kimberlyn Brown, demented nature. Steffy dismissed her mother's future shock outlook but must reconsider the Sheila threat angle once she learns that Luna is not in jail. Sheila will want to see her granddaughter, which will re-establish a power struggle. The weight of the crown. Steffy Forrester leaned back in her chair at Forrester Creations, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. The elegant office, with its sleek lines and modern decor, felt more like a cage than a sanctuary. Her fingers drummed restlessly against the mahogany desk as she stared at the latest sales reports. Despite the company's success, a storm was brewing, one that had little to do with profits and everything to do with family. It had been weeks since Finn's disappearance. Days and nights blurred into one another as Steffy juggled the responsibilities of being a mother, CEO, and a woman whose heart was fractured. Rumors were circulating about Sheila Carter's possible involvement, and the uncertainty was suffocating. A knock on the door interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Thomas stepped in, concern etched into his features. "You need to go home, Steffy," he urged softly, his eyes scanning the dark circles beneath her eyes and the tension in her posture. "Home?" she scoffed. "What home, Thomas? Finn's missing, Mom's on edge, and Dad's." She stopped, shaking her head. "I can't just leave everything." "Let me take some of the load," Thomas insisted, moving closer. "We'll find Finn, I promise." Steffy's eyes glistened, but she blinked back the tears. For the sake of her children, for the company, for her sanity, she couldn't afford to break. "I wish I could believe that," she whispered. "But Sheila's out there, and I can't shake this feeling that we're all in danger." Protective instincts. Across town, Ridge paced the living room of the Cliff House, jaw clenched. Taylor watched him, her own nerves frayed but masked beneath a calm facade. The silence between them was heavy, words unspoken yet understood. "We need to do something," Ridge growled finally, stopping to face her. "Sheila's a threat to all of us. To Steffy, to the kids." "I know," Taylor interjected, her voice soft but steady. "But we can't make reckless moves. We need a plan, we need proof." Ridge's hands flexed at his sides. "I can't just sit around and wait for her to strike again. I won't." Taylor reached out, resting a hand on his arm. "We'll protect them, Ridge. Together." His eyes softened at her touch, a flicker of their old connection surfacing. For all their differences, when it came to their family, they were united. "I can't lose anyone else," Ridge admitted, voice low. "Not after everything." "And you won't," Taylor assured him, though the fear gnawed at her too. "We'll find Finn, and we'll keep Steffy safe. But we have to be smart about this." Unraveling threads. Meanwhile, Detective Sanchez sifted through the growing pile of reports on his desk. Eyes narrowing at the familiar face on the screen, Sheila Carter. Her name was a stain on his record, her crimes a series of loose threads that refused to be tied off. A knock at the door pulled him from his thoughts, and he looked up to see Steffy standing there, her eyes shadowed but determined. "Miss Forrester," Sanchez greeted, surprised. "I wasn't expecting you." "I can't just sit back," she stated, stepping into the office. "Finn's out there, and Sheila, she's involved. I need answers." Sanchez sighed, gesturing for her to sit. "We're doing everything we can." "It's not enough," Steffy snapped, the strain cracking through her composure. "Every day that passes. What if she's hurt him? What if?" Her voice broke, but she straightened her spine, refusing to falter. "You need to find him." "We will," Sanchez promised, though the uncertainty in his eyes betrayed him. Steffy leaned forward, fire igniting in her gaze. "You don't understand. I won't rest until Sheila's behind bars, or worse." A dangerous alliance. Sheila Carter watched the Forrester estate from a distance, a smile curling her lips. The chaos she'd sown was blooming beautifully, and the pieces were falling into place. But even she knew the game was far from over. Her phone buzzed and she answered, eyes never leaving the house. "Everything's set," a voice reported. "They won't see it coming." Sheila's grin widened. "Perfect. Make sure it stays that way. It's time the Forresters learn what happens when you cross me." Hanging up, she chuckled softly, eyes glinting with malice. After all, family was everything, and she intended to tear theirs apart. Lines drawn. Back at Forrester Creations, Steffy gathered her family in the conference room. Ridge, Taylor, Thomas, and Brooke. The tension was palpable, alliances fragile. "We need to be united," Steffy declared, gaze shifting from Brooke to her father. "Sheila wants us fractured, distracted. We can't let that happen." Brooke crossed her arms, a hint of skepticism in her eyes. "And what's the plan, Steffy? Just sit and wait." "No," Steffy retorted sharply. "We take control. We cut off every advantage she has, resources, contacts, everything. And we find Finn before she can use him against us." Ridge nodded approvingly, pride in his eyes. "She's right. We have to strike first." But Brooke's frown deepened. "And if it doesn't work? If we just end up making things worse?" Taylor stepped in, her voice cool. "Then we adapt, but we can't let fear paralyze us." The room fell silent, tension simmering. For better or worse, their course was set. Fractures and fault lines. That night, Steffy stood on the balcony, city lights shimmering in the distance. The wind tugged at her hair, cold and biting. Her arms wrapped around herself, more out of instinct than chill. She didn't turn at the sound of footsteps, already recognizing the heavy tread. "You should rest," Taylor murmured, coming to stand beside her. "I can't," Steffy admitted. "Every time I close my eyes, I see him. I see what she could be doing to him." Taylor's eyes glistened, but she held her daughter close. "We'll get him back," she whispered. "I swear it." But even as the words left her lips, doubt lingered between them, dark and unspoken. Breaking point. Days bled into weeks. Leads went cold. Finn remained missing. Steffi's control slipped, cracks splintering beneath the surface. When the phone finally rang, shrill and sudden, she lunged for it, heart hammering. A voice crackled through, detached, eerie. "Tick-tock, Steffi. Time's running out." The line went dead, leaving her breathless, hands trembling. A family united. Ridge Taylor and Thomas rushed in at her scream, eyes wide with alarm. Steffi's hands were shaking, the phone slipping from her grasp. "She has him," she choked out. "Sheila has Finn." Ridge's face darkened, fury barely contained. Taylor's arms wrapped around Steffi, a lifeline against the rising tide of despair. "We end this," Ridge vowed, voice a lethal promise. "Once and for all." Epilogue: The storm ahead. As dawn broke over Los Angeles, the Forrester family gathered, eyes steely and hearts resolute. They had been pushed, battered, but not broken. And now, with their enemy clear and their path set, there was only one thing left to do.